Testing 1 2 1 2. What's happening? Give me a minute. Just checking on a couple things. I got my charts all marked out here. What a day. Pretty wild. 10 sell off. And I'm going to kind of keep an eye on looking for exhaustion reversal. If not, we're kind of headed down to like 20,300. We'll see if we get a bit of a reversal here. We look. Oops, that's GC. 12 hours. Go to. Is this right? Day, week, month. So we've taken out this pivot here, this pivot here, this pivot here. The only thing left is down in this area. But we may get short-term exhaustion reversal off of here. A little bit of a bounce maybe. Not 100% sure. It's what I'm going to be looking for, but I'm going to be patient. See if something sets up. It's all continuation, so not super ideal. For downside. So we'll see what happens. Let's see, do I want to mark anything on here? Make sure my charts are set up. Should be the 15. Very weak bounce at the end of the day. Do get a failed 2 down on the 30, 60. So worth keeping an eye on the 60 high, which I marked here. So if we take out the 60 high, I'll probably take a shot at a long. If that doesn't work, then I'm just going to end the stream and go chill for a bit. Not going to sit around like I did, was it last night? I can't remember. The day before. I just traded way too long. Sat here too long. Last night, yeah, it was last night. It was the day before and last night. It was all it was like marathon trading. And I didn't trade well. I hit DLL on all 4 of my XFAs, or 5 of my XFAs. 2 of them just straight up revenge trading, so wasn't too happy about that because then I missed the moves today. I did take them in some combines. I got 5 combines at about 1,500 each. I think one maybe is at 1,100. This one that I'm copy trading, I put 1,114 into, so I'm going to copy trade that with my 3 other XFAs. I'm going to leave these other combines down here. You can see right here, 51.5. God darn it. 51.5, 51.1, 51.490, 51.509, 51.436. So I got backup combines in the pipeline here in case I need them because I've been struggling with these funded accounts. No two ways about it. But I've got a good 700. I think my worst XFA, I have 700 until max loss. Between like 700 and 1,200. So I got plenty of room to work with. I just need to, be a little more patient and take better trades, not focus on the money. And one or two good. I mean, today is really. It sucks that I hit DLL last night on my XFAs. It was a reminder, sitting there today, catching these trades in combines and not making any money was a good reminder that if I hit daily loss on XFAs overnight, I don't get to trade New York. And that's where usually the big moves happen. So at the end of the day, I mean, there was so much opportunity today. I don't know how anyone didn't make money. Like the short off the open here was, in my opinion, really really easy. If you zoom in on a smaller time frame, it was just selling, tiny bit of corrective activity on a 1 minute, selling, little corrective activity, selling, all the way down here, and then this was hitting daily target, I believe, and we got an exhaustion reversal. So there was a nice. Let's look at it like on a 1 minute here, real quick. Where's the open? It's right here. So I missed this initial selling, right? I didn't catch this. I waited for this little corrective activity and I shorted. And that was, I mean, that was basically it. And then we hit an exhaustion level. We got a little bit of a bounce. We have an inside bar here that broke bull. So just this bounce right here over 14 minutes was good for 183 points. So if you miss the downside, wait, look for the reversal, back up, and then yes, the afternoon was just kind of sideways choppy. There was enough, you could have taken some trades in here. But the next best setup that I saw was on the 60. I posted it in chat. So a lot of sideways chop, and then we had the shooter candle, right? 2-2 reversal shooter on the flip, took almost no heat, right? Opened, tried to push a little bit higher, and then just triggered this and dumped. And this was good for, I think, 430 points. So you could have taken, even just down to our regular strat target was 132 here. If you just got out, well, technically it would be 72 points, but I would be looking for new low a day, see if we got any follow through. But you could have exited, a good chunk of position at 132 points and left any runners to capitalize on the rest of this move. And I just had to sit and watch this play out without being able to participate, which was pretty frustrating. So, reminder to self, I need to do some reflecting this weekend and maybe jot down some notes, write a little letter to myself about being patient and waiting, because it sucks to not catch those. What's up, Lemsy? Uh, Options degen here. It's T3. It's just this. I don't post the link anywhere. All right, market's open. What's going on here? Take a contract. Probably add into this. We'll see. Trying to keep my aggressiveness to a minimum, so still not doing my 3 micro starter. I'll get back to that once I'm a little on point here. I was trading today during New York. I was trading about 2 minis. I was scaling in using 3 micros at a time, pretty aggressively, up to about 2 minis, and I did really well. So, but I'm just not trading great in XFAs at the moment, so I'm not going to, as long as I don't take any big losses, I'm fine. These are all these accounts. I need 1 or 2 good trading days. If I could put up maybe like 3 grand in, these accounts, I'll take $1,000 payout from them. They all need just 1 more day to be payout eligible. So they just don't. I don't have enough money, but I don't want to blow them up and have to spend another, $150 times 5 accounts to get backups, and then have to start from day 0, day 1, whatever. See if we get any kind of buyers showing up here. They've been kind of non-existent, but at this point, we have taken out a bunch of weekly pivots. So we'll see if this is kind of the short-term end of the road. At least get a little bit of corrective activity, and then we can roll over. I don't won't really care at that point. Whoops, hit the hotkey on the wrong screen. That's kind of annoying. That's all right. Wanted another entry at this trigger on the 60, and all I did was switch from NQ to RTY on my other monitor, so gotta live with it. Again, for me right now, I'm not worried about putting up huge days. Like, it's take good trades, and the money will come. Like, I know I can put up big number days. It's just making sure that, like, last night I just lost all patience, and when it dipped into my I hit DLL on my 3 copy traded accounts, and then I switched to my backups, which I usually save for New York, and I traded kind of like full port style and almost hit DLL pretty quickly on both. It was just straight up rage trading, like pissed at the market, pissed at myself. F this. I'm gonna just gonna go in aggressive, and it's gonna be all or nothing kind of thing, which is really really dumb. It's not what I want to be doing as a trader. It's not really trading. It's, at that point we're just clicking buttons. Switch screen again. Why am I not clicking on? I missed an entry again. If this pulls back just a little bit here. If not, I'll have to live with the mistake. Gotta get my shit together, that's for sure. This is like a little bit of a tester trade, right? See if we're gonna get some buyers to push this up at least a little bit after, 700 point down day. It's a pretty big red day in the NASDAQ. Doesn't mean it can't go lower, but it just means that it's kind of hard to get short right here. It might be, for me. Already went outside month, right? NQ. Here's the month. I can't even believe we pretty much round tripped here. All the way up. Couldn't make a new all-time high. Gave it all back, and then outside month. So, little broadening formation here. See if we can catch the bottom for a little bit of corrective activity. But if not, I'll just, I'll hop out and kind of let things sit for a bit. There's just not really any setups on the 4 hour, the 12 hour of the day like I like. Those are my go-to higher time frames, and they're all opening inside. We have a failed 2 down on the 60. That's why I'm in this trade. It's the only reason. Right. 2 down green. Just looking for something. Maybe we get up to, like 788 would be impressive. Little 100 point, even 50 points I would probably take. I'm going to be in a see money take money kind of mindset tonight. Like, I'm not looking for as big of a move as I ordinarily would. to mark the daily open. I accidentally deleted all of my layouts or my layout, so I don't have like it wiped all of my charting, which is kind of annoying. 2649.5. All right, this is daily open. Want to know always if we're above or below the daily open. The weekly too, but I know we're nowhere near the monthly, quarterly, or weekly. They are like way overhead. So time frame continuity is to the downside, but we can trade against it once we've hit some exhaustion levels, which we have. So but there was aggressive selling today, so there's no, I don't have any evidence of buyers at this point. Just kind of taking a shot, see if it works. If it works, great. If not, I'll stop out and move on with my life. I usually don't like to trade Friday, but we'll see with the volatility that we've had. Maybe something decent shows up tomorrow. It's really about being picky in the trades that we take and being patient. MEI in funded chat, we were discussing how we can work on practicing patience and waiting for ideal setups. And I mentioned that, we need to find some kind of distraction, like not just sitting here, set an alert, go walk the dog, take a walk, take a nap, eat some lunch, run to the store, whatever. And just wait for the charts to set up. We know that we should be paying attention 5 or 10 minutes before the flip. For me, the most important flip during the day is the 60 and the 4 hour. And the 60 happens 4 times for every 4 hour candle. So that's kind of what I'm looking at when I'm day trading. I'm not looking at the 4 hour too, but we only get so many 4 hour flips. 10 p.m., 2 p.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m., rinse, repeat. But we get a new 60 every 60 minutes. So I know that I can go do something for, 45, 50 minutes if the market's not moving and come back and see, what things look like on the flip. And a lot of times we can tell in advance if the flip is going to be worth watching. So, I can squeeze out a little more time. Like maybe check every 2 hours. But just getting away from the charts. The longer I sit at the charts, the stronger the desire to click buttons becomes. Just is very difficult for me to keep my fingers off the clicker sometimes. It just sucks to miss a day like we had today in a funded account. There was also, I mean, in addition to this 60-minute shooter right here, we had this 30-minute inside bar that took like no heat, right? What is that? 0485, and the high was 56. So like less than 10 points, 7 to 8 points. If you entered here, the most it moved against you was 7 points, which is well within my, criteria for where I'd set a stop. And then we just tanked, right? Look at this. We went from, one candle just to the next, just straight down. There's a little bit of corrective activity here, but this is just hardcore selling. Even this first candle was 157 points. And then everything after that is kind of gravy. So it's frustrating to not be able to participate in that, but it's a reminder for me that if I do play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If I can't control myself during Globex or other times, and I hit daily loss limit on all of my funded accounts, then there's no more game to play. Okay, and I did end up starting some combines just to have as backups, but it's not the same. Little 5 minute inside bar breaking bear. Really don't want to see this flip the day, this blue line here. In fact, I'm going to tighten my stop up just under that daily open. Came very close to adding there. I wish I had. See, for me, that's like my line in the sand, right? If we flip the day red, then I'll stop out of this trade and probably be done. I don't think I'm going to stick around today too long because there's just not much here. Just debating whether or not I should just cut this or give it a second here. I mean, there's not a whole lot of risk. It's only 85 bucks on 3 micros, but if I can if the trade doesn't make sense anymore, I'd rather cut that number in half. I just closed. Oh, I it didn't. I guess I got stopped hits and with some slippage. Keep an eye on it for a minute, but I'm probably gonna pack it in. Failed 2 up on the 15-30-60, so I'll be on the lookout for outside bars. I really try and not. I really try and avoid taking trades when there's no higher time frame setup, like on the 64-hour, 12-hour day. I'm not really interested in getting in a setup off the 5, 15, or 30 unless there's something on a higher time frame. So that there is a 60-minute just 2-2 reversal, but got to get back over 58, 658, and that's not happening right now. Do have a 3-2 up shooter here on the 15. So it's really hard to see. Trying to break the low here. Maybe take a short. If that breaks, looking for the outside 60 possibly. I feel like I should probably just wait for at least the 4 hour. We have 4 hour inside, which tends to be my nemesis. Maybe just wait for the first hour of trading, first 30 minutes. See if there's a little more clarity here. We get some more candles printing. See if there's some smaller time frame setups, but again, I don't like focusing just on those. Why is this line not on my chart the right way? What is this? Oh, that's a weekly low. My trading view charts are not marked up correctly, which is throwing me off here a little bit. I'll take another stab at this long, but I really don't think it's a great idea. I mean, I might get lucky with it, but I think tonight's going to be a waiting game, right? Just chill out, wait until we get some candles printing, maybe on the first 4 hour flip, maybe London. You know, if I go to bed early, I'll wake up for London, check, take a peek, or early tomorrow morning, like New York pre-market, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. when there's when I've got a little more clarity on what the market wants to do. Oftentimes, after these big moves, we end up in periods of consolidation where things aren't really going anywhere, right? We just had a relatively large sell off. So and we're down 1,736 points from the recent high, and that was, hold on, let me get this lined up here, 9 days. So in 9 days, we are down almost 8% in NASDAQ. Again, it's not that we can't keep going lower, but the risk reward for shorts right here for me right now is just not there. Now, maybe if we end up with a 4 hour inside bar, right, where's the 4 hour? Is that the 4 hour? Yeah, like we end up with maybe a very small 4 hour inside bar, you know, to the lows, that's 56 points. That would be worth, you know, and then making new lows. That could be interesting. Or if this tightens up and we get a little bit of a relief bounce, you know, maybe we get to 50, 60, 80, 100 points. That's the other thing we were talking about in funded chat was not paper cutting ourselves to death, where you take, you know, three, four, 5 trades, maybe you lose 50 or $100 per trade, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're almost at daily loss limit, and then you miss the easy trade. And I just worked really hard the other day. I dug a hole for myself. I was down 300 in my funded accounts, and then clawed back, trading very small size to like plus 50 on the day across those XFAs. I think I ended the day up 600 across all XFAs, but it was just so much work to get out of that I really want to focus on avoiding that going into next month. It sucks if you catch a $300 or $400 trade and you end up break even, you know. It's not ideal. It's fine if you take a bad trade. You know, for me, I look at it like this. If there's a setup there and I take the trade and the trade doesn't work and I lose money, that's okay. Right? It happens. It's part of the game. We are going to take losses. There's no way around it. But if I am impatient and just clicking buttons and I end up in a red trade or two red trades or three red trades without following a process, that's the bigger concern for me, is not sticking to the plan, not following rules, not waiting for setups. It just makes it worse. Like, it sucks to be red, but I would rather be red and having followed my plan than being red because I was, doing not, just clicking. Holding above the daily open here. Back to that 60 trigger. We got 37 minutes left in the 60 candle. But higher time frames are inside the 412 in day. So, like, as much as I want to maybe take another long attempt here, we got a 15-minute flip in about 7 minutes, just under. This 5 minute, we get a little failed two down reversal, right? Two down green. But pretty small 30-point range so far, which is it's not unusual. See what happens on the 15-minute flip with this inside bar. Like, maybe we get the 15-minute inside to re-trigger the 60 with 30 minutes left for the 60 to, like, do something. I don't have a great target for the 60 up. If I can get maybe 20, 30 points, probably going to be, like, good enough for tonight. Playing around with this volume profile fixed range so I can see where most of the volume has traded. This little red line is point of control. Now, we haven't, we've only been trading for 25 minutes, so it's going to have less weight than if we had been trading for 8 hours, 10 hours. But as we get more data, it's an area that I've been paying attention to. I don't have any solid strategy around it yet. I mean, I'm primarily focused on strat setups, time frame continuity, broadening formations, but just looking to add maybe a little tool here, there. If it's at, maybe if there's a reversal at point of control or the bottom of broadening formation, just gives me a little more confluence. Like, I know options degen has been banging the desk on rocket scooter levels. They use, I think, GEX data, gamma exposure, options data to mark out some levels on the chart, and he's done really well with that. So, that's awesome. Love to see it. So I've got these rocket scooter, these tabs up here. Was trying to sign up. They do like a 20-day kind of boot camp thing, and I tried to sign up, and then I was having an issue, and I sent a message to Matt, and I just didn't hear back by the time they restarted, and I got busy with other stuff, so probably circle back to it. But yeah, I mean, any tools that I can pick up along the way, like, there's more than one way to do this. So whatever I can use to improve consistency and win rate, that's what I'm gonna do. Curious what this looks like. Down. Used to have this on my charts back in the day. I haven't recently. Well, you can just see where there's where the most volume has traded, and you get these low volume nodes, price can rip through. So if there's a strat set up, targeting like somewhere down here, it's just helpful to know. Leave it on there for fun. See if it helps. I'm a details kind of oriented guy, so I tend to notice kind of patterns, or that's why I have that 100. I have a 100 point rule. After 100 points on NQ, it could be 85, it could be 90, it could be 110, but around 100 points, I look for potential pause in price action or a reversal. It's just kind of like something that I've noticed, and I just pay attention to it. Does that mean when we hit 100 points, I just close my position or get into a position? Not at all. Just kind of like a rule of thumb, something that, like I said, that I've noticed and kind of keeps me out of trouble, right? Sometimes I can get greedy. I'm looking for, 120, 200 points or whatever, and it's like, all right, if I get the 100 point move, maybe that's a good place to take profit and exit or take partial. It's kind of distracting me right now, so I'm just gonna ditch it. Flip in 10 seconds on the 15er. Went outside 5. Let's see what happens here. Right at the 60 trigger. I'm gonna take a little late on this, but broke the inside 15 up. We'll see if this goes anywhere. Just gonna kind of punt a micro. Someone challenged me recently. I don't know if it was yesterday, today, to just trade a micro for like the next 30 days, which I don't know if I can do. But I have sized down the last 2 or 3 days. Not in combines, like that's kind of my practice area, but in funded accounts, and that that could be causing some issues. I don't really know at this point, but their reasoning is just focus on taking good trades and seeing how many ticks you're getting out of trades, and then we can always scale up, right? It's just changing the number of contracts. That's it. So if what I'm doing is working well with one, then I know that I'm in the zone, things are working, I got a good read on the market, and then I just size up, right? Instead of, one, do my normal three, add three, or trade, whatever size, 5, 10, scale in. See if the 15, let's see if we get a new high a day here. 15 hitting target would be new high a day. And again, I don't have a great target for this 60-minute. So the goal for me will be to just get this to break even and then kind of let it ride. There's new high, I think. Yeah. See if it tops out here or if buyers bail. So on the 30-minute flip, we got an inside 30, two up on the 60, inside 4 hour. That's about it. Pulling back almost a 15-minute trigger here. Not super ideal. I'm going to close that. I don't want to see that pull, it's just not what I want to see. Rather just wait. Pretty much scratch on that trade. I think lost $6. You can see we just have these big upper wicks here. Like we hit this target. Like this is the strat target right here, which we hit. So this high, we target this high on this inside bar break. We hit target and are selling off. Like a little bit of a pullback would be okay. Like pull back here and then I wanted to see this push higher, not do what it's doing. I usually try and be pretty quick out of trades that aren't working. Like if I think a setup is going to do something and it's not doing that, I will just get out, right? I'd rather get out and re-enter if it makes sense later than sit through, like this starts giving it all back and then, we get a new low a day and now I'm like stuck with a position that's in the red doing the hope and pray that we get back up to my entry. I'd rather just cut it. If this holds up, could get back in. That's just what I'm more comfortable doing. Like we hit target and then immediately sell off and come back to entry. Like that's not what I want. Re-trigger back up. I also don't have like a ton of comp. Like here's the problem with just these smaller time frame setups, right? So the 15-minute, it hit its target here, and if you're kind of scalping, I think it was good for 12 points, right? 12 and a half points. Fine. You want to just jump in that, take your profit, and that's probably what I'm going to need to do because there are no higher time frame setups. But what I'm looking for is for this setup to then trigger a higher time frame setup with more magnitude to the upside. And because we don't really have any higher time frame setups, we do have the 60 just 2-2 reversal. It doesn't help me a whole lot. Like I really want to see domino trades where we get like a 15 trigger in a 30 trigger in a 4 hour, or a 15 trigger in a 4 hour, or a 30 triggering a 4 hour, or 30 triggering a 60. Some kind of cascading chain of events that trigger in higher time frame participants. Probably a better stop now that I'm looking at this with, the benefit of hindsight is would have been like 649 this daily open. Because as long as we stay above the daily open, I'll look for bullish setups. Without a target on the 60 and, being 4 hour inside, it's just not ideal. Like this on the 60 today was ideal, right? 60 shooter, didn't take a lot of heat. First target was 72 points, second target was 132. And then once we get new low a day, we're looking for, just partial leave runners, that sort of thing. So we had an inside 30 that led to this 60 down. I need something similar to that, not just, a 60 setup with no real target and 15-minute setup. Just not like great. They can work, but trying to get out of the gambling business. Let me just check in on chat here. Options DJing caught that ad, thankfully. I'm not sure which one, but that's awesome. Session volume profile, indie have developing POC. No, I gotta keep dragging it. I mean, it might. I don't know. I mean, as far as like fixed range, I gotta keep, just moving this over to the latest candle. I don't know if that's what you mean, or if you're talking about regular volume profile. But I'm good friends with a guy who uses market profile, volume profile, point of control. He's always pointing that stuff out to me. I haven't heard from him in a while though, so maybe he blew up and whatever he was doing didn't work. I hope not. I just haven't heard from him in a bit. But yeah, I mean he swears by it, so it's something I'm playing around with. See how price reacts. That's 20 points already. It's all right. Every time I thought I missed a move last night, the market, we got short, looked like it was the play, and then it dumped some more, and then we got a little bit of a tightening range, and then it ripped much higher for like 100 plus points. So trying to keep in mind what I tell everybody else who DMs me or is struggling, or when they're like, "Oh, the move already happened this morning," like with the short. Oh, it's too late. It's never too late. You missed that, move in that moment, but if you keep watching, you're going to find corrective activity probably, and then continuation back in the direction it was going with full time frame continuity to the downside. And then once the shorts, ran out of gas, there was an exhaustion reversal after hitting daily target, and there was a long that you could have taken. There's plenty of opportunity. Like if you're like, oh, I missed it, and then you're checking out. Like let's say you just got in on this candle. I mean it's just a 230 point move up. So maybe you wanted to be patient here and you wait. Right, we get some sign of buyers. Pull back. We get this little hammer candle here. Boom. So you enter right here. 173 points. So did you miss this? Maybe. But why not just then jump back in this and then this I'm sure there are trades in here if you're looking hard enough. These are pretty sizable moves, 140 points. But, the 30 and the 60 short was clear as day to me. I got some messages, people who said they didn't make any money today, and I really think if you struggled today, you need to go back and look at the charts and ask yourself why. Like, for me today was the market on easy mode for the most part. Like in the middle of the day, and the reason that I have on my rules, like once the easy money has been made, kind of walk away. I would say this, right here, this move down and this bounce was the easy money. And then we kind of, from like here, damn it. So from like here to here, you could argue is kind of like, a bit of kind of chop. But this right here, pretty easy to trade. And then moving into the end of the day, you had the short. So like I pretty much closed up shop after this first. I think even before this first initial bounce, I was done, locked up my combines. That was it. Uh, Abdi, hey, finally catching a live session. Try gold. What indicators for can? Are you still here? Let me know. Sorry, I wasn't checking YouTube chat. Apologies. If you're still here, let me know. Are you looking at gold? You looking at gold tonight? Who's the obsessed funded trader? It's got to be somebody I know. I hang out in a Discord, just a handful of people. Most of us, I think, came from Top Step, and we it's pretty chill. We have we kind of try and keep each other in check, but they were trolling me last night. Somebody was. I was not in them. I mean, I just was like, whatever, dude, do your thing. Um, because I was in like a complete zombie state last night, so like low energy, couldn't function, and I'm like, dude, really, I don't need your shit right now. And I felt like it might be one of them, but it was, of course, being clowns. Let me check back in Discord here, 'cause I saw Top Striker. What's up, man? You still here? Yeah, you are. How'd I do yesterday? DLL'd in 5 XFAs, mostly in revenge trading mode, and then uh 1,500 in 4 combines and 1,100 in another. So I guess okay, but in my book, not really. I mean, what matters to me is putting money in funded accounts, not combines. I don't even need the combines right now, but if I don't get my shit together, then I may need them if I hit MLL, and I don't want to be without funded accounts. It's really depressing. Check the settings for DPOC. Is that in this for fixed, or is that volume profile visible developing? Okay, interesting. How that works, but I'll keep an eye on it. I'm gonna do some. I was asking ChatGPT some questions today about market profile stuff. Top Step TV had this guy Dalton on, who is like the kind of creator, I guess, or called the Godfather of like market profile. And I had some questions about, he was talking about adjusting overnight inventory. So I wanted to find out what that meant. And it's basically like if you're above settlement, so the close for the previous day, then you've got buyers. And if you're below, you've got more sellers likely. And then you can see a reversal back through the range. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can use any of these market structure kind of pro tips to give me a little bit more of an edge with my strat trading. So if I'm like, oh, this looks like a broadening formation and it's like a failed downside auction or failed upside auction, which is a market profile thing, then I'll be like, okay, cool. I've got two things giving me hints here that we're going to reverse back through. So I need to sit down and like this weekend, maybe tomorrow. I hate trading on Fridays. I just in the past haven't done well. I don't know if it's just OpEx or the market just being difficult, or maybe by the end of the week I'm kind of like gassed. I've got no patience left, or I'm just exhausted. But ideally, I mean, I think moving like in the future, and this is what I planned on doing was, if I've made my money for the week by Thursday, and I'm like green on the week, then no need to trade on Friday. I like going to the week and going into the weekend being green. It feels good to close out the week positive, and then when you're not able to trade over the weekend, you're like, yes, I had a great week. I had a great week. And then when the market opens on Sunday, you've added to your account balances. You're like, yes, great. I'm not, I'm not trying to claw out of a hole. Maybe that's just me. I don't know if you guys can relate. I hate, I used to blow up a lot of funded accounts, and there was nothing worse than blowing up a funded account on like a Thursday or Friday where I would not have a funded account the next week to start the next week. Like I would maybe be able to get half in a combine on Friday or a couple combines, but then, I'd have to trade Sunday, wait till Sunday close or Monday, close on Monday to activate and then get back in the game. So I try and ideally like my weeks would, I would just not trade Friday at all, like not even bother with it or be very picky. Like just because it's Friday doesn't mean that I don't have to trade, but it means like it could be very optional. Like I would need to see a really great setup to get interested, and if not, then not just sit here all day. Like check in on the flips and see what's what. Top striker was up on his two bands and blew it all up at end of day. Oh no! What happened? How'd you do that? You trying to like long into that sell off? That sucks, man. That's just a shitty way to end the day. I feel you on that. Can relate. Options. DGen made money last night. Traded like shit today. Congrats, and then sorry to hear. Um, yeah, yesterday there was some. The problem was that I just wasn't patient enough to wait for the really easy opportunity. So if we look like on a 30-minute, right, we were stuck inside of this range for a while, but maybe it's easier to see on a. Let's take a look at the 15, I think. So, right, we had this big candle that I said might be a pain in the ass, and we were stuck inside of it for a while, right? Actually, I mean, even all the way up here. But we market opened, had a little sell off. This was that initial dump, right? Put in another little lower low, and then we just kind of tightened up here. So, bigger picture was like this, this, this. This is a higher low compared to this low over here. So, if you're going to try and get in, this is a good place to do it, right? Where you've got some green two down candles holding it up above this low right here, and you take a punt, boom, and then we end up with, a decent move up. But this didn't happen until 11 o'clock at night, and by that time I had already chopped myself up to death. So it's really like for me is being patient enough to wait for the good moves, like not hit DLL before the easy stuff happens, and it's just hard to do sometimes. Um, Keep it dashed to differentiate and zoom in. Okay, I will check that out. Market sell off almost every. Top Striker says market sells off at almost every Friday. I wonder what the stats are on that. One thing I was thinking about looking at was Edgeful. I don't know if you guys have heard of Edgeful. They just have a bunch of different stats for futures and I think stocks too about like pretty much anything you can think of, like how often do we close green if the first 15-minute candle is green? They might not do that exactly, but it's shit like that. What's the average number of 15-minute candles that go, with higher lows before you get a reversal? And so, if it's like, it's the average is 12 up candles and then you get a reversal and we're at like 13 or 14, it's just again, these are not like hard rules. But you can say, hey, we're getting a little overextended compared to what we typically do. So the odds are in your favor to gotta pay attention to that. But I wonder what the numbers are like on Fridays. Do you have any stats on that, or is that just kind of anecdotal, like what you've noticed? Try session volume profile. Do they not have it on top? I don't know if they have it on Top Step X. Let me check Trading View. Session volume profile. Okay, I'll have to add it. I don't have any of this. My experimentation was on Top Step X, so they don't have all the indicators, but that's good to know because then I don't have to keep doing this thing where I have to keep dragging this like all night constantly, or every and is anytime we print new candles, I got to keep dragging this over. So maybe I'll get rid of it on here and put it on Trading View. That's good to know. Session volume profile. Thanks, man. So you learn something new every day. It's probably on TSX. Did I mistype it? Nope. Fixed range, visible range, just volume. I don't see it. But again, like Top Step X only has this small list of indicators here. I gotta write this down, man. I'm putting it right next to the 460-minute time frame note that I've got here on my desk. Session volume profile. All right. We're just kind of ping-ponging around here. There's not a whole lot going on NQ yet. I thought we were gonna have an inside bar on maybe the 30 or 60. Well, the 60 I know we don't have one, but I thought maybe the 30. We did just break. We just took out the high, but we're pretty much just stuck in this opening range. It's kind of chopping around here. So zoom out when you're, you can get zoomed in like this, and you're like, oh, there's things that are kind of really, they look like they might be moving a bit. And when you zoom out, it's like, tiny little. It's not even kind of noticeable, especially when you have big days like this. So I'd rather be trading when we've got these big aggressive moves happening than trying to guess which direction this thing might break. We get the hourly flip here in 2.5 minutes, and then I'm probably gonna hop off. Gonna practice patience. I'm gonna practice walking away. I've been sitting here for an hour. I traded. I tried to take as much time away from screens today as possible. I played with my dog quite a bit. I tried to take a nap, but when the market is moving like it was, it's like a magnet. I'm drawn to the charts. I got to sit here, even though I wasn't trading. I was just kind of locked in. Might be good for me. I don't really want to trade a practice account just because I think it, that I don't have the same emotions involved. But maybe it would be helpful to actually take some of the trades and you know play around with scaling in or some of the market profile, volume profile stuff. I'd really rather just do it on combines and try and pass, right? And if I take a loss, it's like not that big of a deal. Flipping 50 seconds. Jake, it does look like a slow night. Sherrod says 693 is previous month low, might push. Is that through? Might push THR, push there, and reject. Yeah, I mean we went. I mentioned earlier on the bigger time frames, we went outside month here on NQ. So for us stratters, it's once a three, leave it be. But it's the bottom of a broadening formation. So megaphone pattern is what we got here. So we like to look for potential reversals or expansion, which, yeah, it's obvious it's going to go this way. It's either going to go up or down, but we care about how price reacts when we're here, right? We look for clues. Is it starting to reverse or are we breaking out of the megaphone pattern and getting expansion? So that's why I'm a little kind of hesitant here to get too aggressive with anything because we just went outside month. We got a new month coming next week, and so just gonna be patient. We have managed to hold over the daily open for most of this session so far. So that might be an area if we get back down there that I would be interested in. But I'm not, I'm just gonna take it easy here. Did break the 60 minute. We went two up on the 5, 15, 30, 60, kind of right out of the gate there on the flip. That's this 2 minute candle. So new high a day. But yeah, it might just be one of those sessions where I just got to wait a few hours and then see how things play out. Like last night was, the frustrating thing about last night is the market was moving. There was like an 80-point drop and then, recovery and then another kind of dump. So things were moving. It just was tricky for me to actually get a piece of until later. Like that's when I fired up a combine or two and caught that move up that I showed you guys earlier. So like, yeah, we're kind of pushing higher here, but I don't have like a ton of confidence. I'd rather wait and see if we close inside 4 hour and then maybe break the highs. Then I would be more interested in taking that trade than just something on the 60, especially now that it's just kind of continuation. And that's newbie. Who's newbie? I mean, I know newbie. So pulling back a little bit. I'm gonna hop off. I think for my own sanity, it just makes sense to step away for a bit, kind of let things develop. Let's get a few hourly candles maybe printing. Check back in 3 hours for the 4 hour flip. Give the market a chance to digest this big move that we've had today and see if they want to keep pushing it down or if we're going to get a little bit of a some kind of reversal, corrective activity, pullback. And that's my game plan. All right, guys. I'm just skimming through charts here, seeing if there's seeing if I missed anything that I can get excited about, and I just can't. I talk about it all the time, and I've shared it with my family recently. Like there are times when the chart is screaming at me. Like the hourly shooter today was just, and there was a trade earlier that somebody that I would have taken. I didn't have any accounts to trade, but I would have taken this short here, this inside bar shooter. We got a little bit of a move, right? 38 points, but a reversal. And a lot of people that I know are like, they bitch and complain like, "Oh, it doesn't work and never follows through." Like, I'm like, "Dude, are you taking this and this?" They're like, "Well, I took it the first time, it didn't work." Okay. So what? That doesn't mean give up. That's not how I trade. It's like, okay, that didn't work. Not every trade setup is going to work. Wait and look for the next one. Here's the next one. This one did work. So anything, that you may have lost, or if you stopped out break even, you certainly could have made up for right here on this huge push down. So you can't take this short and not take this one. You have to take both. If you're going to trade strat setups, you have to take both. Time frame continuity to the downside. You got to take this short and you got to take this short. One worked, one didn't. That's 50-50 win rate. It's pretty good. But it makes me crazy when, I hear what sound like excuses to me. Like, oh, every time I get in, it doesn't work. And then the ones I don't take, it works. Bro, you're supposed to take every setup that you're trading, right? Not I don't mean every single strat combo off the combo sheet, but I mean if you're going to trade shooter breaks, right? Shooter bear breaks, you got to take both of them. You can't just pick and choose. Like if they match the setup criteria, you got to take them. You can't not take it and then say, "Well, they never work for, they never work for me." Well, that one worked. So, I don't know why you're not taking it. But I really need the chart. I trade best when the charts are when I look at the chart and I'm like, damn, that would be sick if this trade plays out. And I don't see that right now. So best for me to just chill out. Hope you guys have a good night. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Love you guys, and I will see you later.